We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Proof that Twitter interfered in the 2020 election, a new stealth bomber, Republicans rebuke Trump, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Twitter owner Elon Musk on Friday began releasing a deluge of internal company documents showing what led the company to suppress posts sharing the Hunter Biden laptop story just weeks before the 2020 presidential election. After teasing his followers with a promise to disclose what really happened with the Hunter Biden story suppression, Elon Musk linked to a lengthy Twitter thread by independent journalist Matt Taibbi, showing the behind-the-scenes deliberations. It portrays company executives plotting their course in response to the New York Post story exposing the now widely authenticated laptop. The documents show Twitter executives often acted on requests from both political parties, but largely from Democrats. By 2020, requests from connected actors to delete tweets were routine, Mr. Taibbi wrote. One executive would write to another, "More to review from the Biden team." The reply would come back, "Handled." Mainstream media has been reluctant to cover the Twitter documents as they were compliant in burying the Hunter Biden laptop information. Elon Musk said the social media platform's censorship of Hunter Biden's laptop story is the definition of election interference. Speaking in a debate on Twitter Spaces, the billionaire who bought Twitter 5 weeks ago argued that Twitter was acting on behalf of the Democratic National Committee ahead of the 2020 presidential elections. The U.S. military's newest stealth bomber was shown to the world on Friday, with Pentagon officials lauding the reveal as a major step in the craft's years-long development. The B-21 Raider is the first new American bomber airplane in more than 3 decades, and while the program remains highly classified, military officials finally allowed reporters to get an initial glimpse of the plane at a secretive ceremony. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said during the reveal, "This isn't just another airplane. It's the embodiment of America's determination to defend the republic that we all love." There are currently 6 Raiders in production, with more expected to be on the way. OPEC Plus announced Sunday that it had agreed to stick with its policy of reducing oil production ahead of a price cap on Russian petroleum by the G7. During a virtual meeting, the organization, made up of 23 OPEC and non-OPEC oil-producing countries, said it would stick to its previously announced cutback on crude oil pumping, slashing production by 2 million barrels per day by 2023, a figure agreed to this past October. This accounts for approximately 2% of the world's oil demand. Known as a rollover, the agreement will let OPEC Plus assess any potential changes in the market as a result of the G7's Russian cap. Iranian protesters called for a 3-day strike to begin in anticipation of a visit to the capital of Tehran by Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi. Amidst ongoing anger and mass protests from Iranians over the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini, protesters called for merchants to begin striking on Monday as a further sign of dissidence toward the ruling regime. The protesters are also calling for a rally toward Tehran's Freedom Square to coincide with the president's visit, and have also urged people throughout the city to enact a 3-day boycott on all economic activity. As the eyes of the world are drawn on Iran, the activist Harana News Agency said 470 protesters have so far been killed. Republican lawmakers rebuked former President Donald Trump, who last month announced he was running for president in 2024, for his call to suspend the Constitution over the evidence of electoral interference in the 2020 presidential election. Representative Mike Turner of Ohio, the top Republican on the House Intelligence Committee, said on CBS's Face the Nation that he vehemently condemned Trump's remarks, which Trump made in response to a Friday report on discussions at Twitter about the company's decision to block links to a New York Post article about emails found on the laptop of Hunter Biden, President Biden's son. Despite the OPEC Plus objections, the Group of Seven price cap on Russian oil took effect Monday. The G7, the European Union, and Australia will enforce the policy in a bid to limit Moscow's financing of its war in Ukraine. The EU also has imposed an embargo on imports of Russian crude by sea. The United States, Canada, Japan, and Britain have announced similar policies. The G7 price cap bars shipment of Russia oil to third-party countries using G7 and EU tankers, insurance companies, and credit institutions, unless the oil is priced at or below the cap of $60 per barrel, under the latest market price of about $67 a barrel. Russian officials said Saturday that Moscow would not accept the price cap. Finally, on a sad note, longtime Sesame Street star Bob McGrath has died. He was 90 years old and died of complications after a stroke, according to his daughter, Kathleen McGrath. McGrath appeared in the Sesame Street pilot in 1969, playing friendly music teacher Bob Johnson, and remained a mainstay on the show for 47 seasons. He made his last series appearance in 2017, but continued to participate in events tied to Sesame Street. McGrath was known for sharing educational lessons in his interactions with the show's puppets, but he also helped add music to the program with original songs, including People in Your Neighborhood, Sing a Song, and If You're Happy and You Know It. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.